Let's do it. Welcome back, everybody. Patrick Curley here again with the renowned, legendary deal architect, negotiator, super agent, actually
And
unicorn,
whack-a-mole expert.
whack-a-mole, AI whack-a-mole expert. And you're colorful today. You're wearing some light blue. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like normally it's,
Do
darker
you
shade.
always notice what color shirt I'm wearing?
I'm liking the color. I dig it.
It's a new 2023 color, summer color, I guess.
Um, so yeah, what's new, man? What are you working on lately?
Well, I'm working on this novation agreement up in Joshua Tree, but I keep, uh, under uncovering other problems. So I'm almost at the point where I have to tell the seller, are you willing to take a loss on this or sell it for less than you owe? Because, it's looking like there's a whole bunch of unpermitted work on that house. And there's no way we can do the extent of work that has to happen under the radar. Permits have to be pulled for new roof, new HVAC system, big major repairs like that. And I believe we're going to end up having to prove the permissibility of the rest of the structure.
Yeah, you can stop the bleeding now, or you can chop your arm off later. What do you want to do?
Well, I thought I still have room, but it's not my arm that's got to be chopped off. It's the seller's arm. I got to take a limb from him if he's willing to do it. Otherwise, I'm just going to say, look, this is just too much.
I was actually just dealing with the same thing with an agent where they had an illegal addition, and it was kind of an easement issue where it needed to come down because the property was literally coming up again on the property line, and they were valuing it off that square footage. And I basically just told her, look, I don't think we're going to get close because you've already set the seller's expectations to value that property, to value that additional space, and we're just way far off. You either need to figure out a way to make it legal, which was impossible, or knock it down, because if we knock it down, then now it's a 2-2. It's a different house completely, right? So yeah, I know how tough those can be.
Yeah, I mean,
So
otherwise it was a fun project, but this is making it not so much fun.
right.
Okay, so what are we
Letter
doing
A
today?
is
The
asking,
letter A is here again.
brought to you by the letter A. Let me see if I can find the last recording. So
It's
wow.
it's in the I put the link in where it belongs. Monday is up. It's up. Yeah, Patrick doesn't do it. He makes me do it. So
Yep, Gary's the
he puts
integrator.
it on his YouTube, but he won't update it in Circle. So
Too
I
much
think I
work.
took care of that yesterday or maybe this morning.
One thing I wanted to talk about, and then like we can kind of go. I didn't exactly have anything planned today. I was thinking we could go over what's stopping people from taking action, and address those who are taking action, and how we can possibly help them. Um, but
So here,
one of my,
let's start out with audience. Who here thinks that believes they're taking action?
yeah, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, say yes in the chat if you think you're taking
If you're
action.
taking action, say yes. If you're not, say no.
So we got quite a few yeses here.
Um,
Oh, we
yes, but
got a yes, but not enough here. So Mike, Mike Matthias, were you one of the ones who said yes, you're taking action?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so tell us what kind of action you're taking.
Um, yeah, so I've been setting up notifications for anything that's coming through, like filters that I would be wanting to try to wholesale some stuff on, up and down the state. In California is my market. And I raised my hand because I actually had a deal that I was talking to an agent about today that I can't submit a blind offer for. I'm going to try to walk it tomorrow, but wanted to, if we had time or if this was a part of the agenda today, go through it and see if it's something we could vet together. just so I'm not losing my mind because it's the first time I've put an offer in on something. So, but yeah, I've had a lot of really good conversations with agents, and I feel like I'm starting to get in the swing of that a little bit more. So,
Love it. So, one thing I wanna touch on real fast, guys, and this is super important for those of you guys that are here. Again, if you're here, put your phones down. Be here, be present, guys, because you might miss something. You might miss one thing that can change everything in your business. And so this is going to be very, very, very common. What you just said, they're not accepting blind offers. Well, they shouldn't, because that's silly, right? We all know that you got to actually inspect a property and walk it to, make an offer on it to know what you're getting yourself into. And eventually somebody's going to walk it. However, if you drop everything that you're doing just to go walk a property every time an agent says that, you're probably not going to close any deals. And I'm not directing that straight to you. I'm talking to everybody when I'm saying this, because we get it all the time. Okay. And often what I'll say is, we don't make blind offers. I'll immediately agree with them. Like, oh yeah, I would never do that. That's silly. I'm an actual investor. We would never make a blind offer. However, before I send out one of my team members, I want to make sure that we're close on price. Right. And, if they say, well, how can you make an offer if you haven't seen it? And I'll respond to them. Yeah, no, that's a great question. Guys, whenever you have somebody push back and give you resistance and they say something like that, respond with, that's a great question. Because what you're doing is you're saying, you're right for asking that. We don't need to have a confrontation. Let's turn it back into a conversation. And then you say, I don't need to walk a property to tell you how much your kitchen's going to cost. And you let that sit in the air. And then you reply with, I would be more than happy to walk that property, but I just want to make sure that your seller is willing to work with an investor and that their expectations are around what we may be coming in at for an offer. Does that sound fair, John? And John says, yeah, okay, that sounds fair. Okay, cool. Well, let me talk to my contractor with the information that I have in front of me to see if we're close. And if we are, we could set up an appointment so that I can walk the property. And then you walk it. Make sense? Yeah, that's for those of you guys listening, that's so common. You guys are going to run into that all the time with agents. And you want to make sure that you're guarding your time. You can't just walk any property, right? And then if they still shut you down, or if they're very closed off and they try to rush you off the phone, then to be honest, it's probably not an agent you want to work with. So how can we help you with this one?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I was underwriting it correctly.
Is this
I know
on
we
or
go
off market?
It's on market property.
Okay. Did you want to share the address, or do you want to just share the numbers?
I can share the address.
Okay.
Let's see. I'll just I'll DM it to you if that works.
Sure. I guess we're on DMing terms. We've already had a personal phone call so far, so
Oh,
I'll accept your DMs.
Cool. I mean, this is probably gonna show up on the screen share, but whatever.
Yeah, so Cindy was asking, what do you do if you're out of state? You need boots on the ground. You got if you're going to work in a foreign market, meaning 4 hours, 4 hour market away from you, you need boots on the ground.
Yeah, and so there's a few things that you could do in that scenario, Cindy. Like, so we just had a Riverside property that a baby elephant brought to me, and I got a guy in the area, but like he was tied up. So one of my team members knows an agent. I called her and I said, look, I need video and pictures of the property. If you could go walk it, I'll pay you $500 at close. So for me, that's worth it. Another strategy that I've heard is hiring somebody to go out and take pictures and video for, whatever, $50, $100. But of course, you'd probably want it under contract and be pretty confident that you're going to close on it.
I was getting the same notification from Redfin today too.
It might be something with their MLS integration, because I know that MLS is down in specific areas with specific platforms.
Well, there's a problem with Rapatoni.
Yep, that's what
And
I
it's
heard.
not in their MLS, it's in their membership management system, which a lot of AORs use that don't necessarily use their version of MLS software, which I'm not terribly fond of, although I do use it because I have no choice. However, they're like Fresno right now has been down because their system is interwoven into that little piece of Rapatoni and they don't know how to unravel it. So it's not all of the associations of realtors are as tech savvy as some of the others are. So you heard John Motzenbacher, he's out of Fresno. He's not able to use the MLS for weeks.
Same with Chelsea.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Okay, so what's the ARV, bud?
I think it's 915. There's a really good comp that is the same floor plan reversed that looks like it sold recently. I don't know, it should be on this list.
The flip floor plan is the same floor plan.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, they do that
it's right
all
down
the
the street.
time, builders. They flip the floor plans. They turn the plans upside down and they build that way.
So real fast, guys, for those of you who are new, those are you that are new. Wow, can I form sentences today? This is going to be a rough meeting. I typically like to use Privy and PropStream. I'll also use Redfin. I had somebody ask me the other day, well, what about Redfin? It's like, yeah, Redfin's great. Like I use a lot of different programs. So when I'm looking at a property, the first thing that I'm doing is visual. Is it a fixer? I mean, I like that puke green carpet. It's pretty awesome.
That's what I said to the agent.
So this is, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's a solid build.
That is emerald green. Be nice.
Emerald green. It is a 2-story. So one of the things that I'll look at in pictures sometimes is like the headers. If I can see any cracking, I just want to know. Number one, what kind of foundation is it on? The foundation is going to be the number one thing that's going to throw your numbers off. And once you like really get to know markets, you'll know if it's common to have raised foundation, if it's common to have shifting soil, is there clay in the soil in the areas. That's advanced stuff. Don't worry about that in the beginning, guys. But again, once you really start hammering the phones, talking to contractors, talking to buyers, you're going to pick up on this stuff. This looks like it's on slab.
It's going to be slab for sure.
Yep.
That neighborhood, that style.
So I don't see anything
Mid-century.
that would indicate problems.
The room divider's got to go, right?
But yeah, this is definitely a full, and it's pretty huge. It's 2,400 square feet. So that's going to be a considerable cost to the flipper. Okay, so my first filter is this a fixer, yes or no? This definitely looks like a fixer. It's dated. And so that could go one of two ways. If you're in a really hot market, you might have homestead buyers bidding against you. What I mean by a homestead buyer is somebody who wants to live in it. They're an end user. And if that's the case, they're always going to blow you out of the water because they want what they want and they're going to outbid you. If that isn't the case, then you might be able to get this at a discount. Now, if you saw this with a distress, like maybe there's holes or plumbing issue or electrical issue or something like that, then you know that you're no longer, or you may not be bidding against homestead buyers at any point. All right. So just some points.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm seeing that 915, I think, that you were talking about. So when we comp, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate the years that it's sold because it doesn't apply. Unless you have to. So if I don't have comps, I might go back in time and look at market data, but I don't have to in this case because there's plenty of comps to choose from. We want to be in the same subdivision. And so another way to really say that is, generally speaking, if you're in the same subdivision, they were typically building in and around the same time. So the next thing I'm going to look at is my build year. And I want to eliminate anything that's outside of plus or minus 10 years. So this 95's got to go bye-bye. I'm going to take the 82 out. I want to go up to probably 78. So I can leave the 76. Let's flip this. And these are fine as well. The next thing that I'm going to look at is kind of like when it sold. So these are January. These are a little bit closer to today. And then the now what I'm looking at is square footage. So we're a pretty big footprint here. Let me flip this and see if I can find. I'm going to take this 3,000 out. I'm going to take all these 3,000s out.
One question on this, on like that fifth row, 1734 Claudia, the grayed out price moving up towards the like the 776 to the 960. What is that indicating? You know,
They bought it for that and they sold it for this.
so it's just a flip.
It could be, or it could just be that's the data that they're presenting to you. I mean, generally, like well, if we click on this, you'll see their hold time. So if we go to let's see.
This looks like a model match potentially.
So if we go to property history, you'll see their hold time. Actually, no, let's see. Oh, here it is, hold time. So this is actually a flip. This was 178 days.
Got it.
6 months. So that's a good one for determining ARV.
Yeah. So when I'm comping, I'm not looking like generally what we will present our buyers is several comps. We usually do like 3 to 4 comps. But when we're underwriting, I tell my team, I want you to find the comp. Yeah. Right. Now, if you find a comp and it's like, let's say it's 915 and you don't see anything else trading for 915, I would be worried about that comp. All right. So we're looking at the numbers here. Again, we're looking at square footage plus or minus 200 square feet. We're at 2498. I prefer to get closer since we have a lot of comps here. I think Gary may be right here because this it sold in January, which is the only thing that concerns me, but we can look at market data and work our way backwards. So really,
the market's probably ticked up a little since January at this point. So I think
yeah, and it's about to cool off. Yeah.
You think we could talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah. So 915.
Yeah, that 915 is the
one
I was referring to.
Yeah. And it's so like one of the things that you can do, like I'll take this zip code. This is one of the things that I like to do is look at like market data. So if you type in Redfin market data, and then you paste that zip code, you can kind of take a look back. It's not going to work. But if you do go into there, it'll show you like a graph and you can see what month, what was happening in the months. So I look at 1 year and 3 years. I look at 3 years just for the general annual trends. And then I'll look at this last year to compare when this sold to my subject, right? So this one, for example, sold in January. So if the market was up last year in January, comparatively to this time, and and also this year, then I'm going to drop that number. But I think 915 is probably correct. So let's just take a look. So once I find a comp, what I want to do is I want to take a look at it and I want to ask myself, is it retail ready? So this actually sold as is. And you might say to yourself, well, that's like really clean, right? Yes, it is really clean, but it's not a flip.
Would it need to be for it to be comparable? Sorry, would it need to be a comparable, or just this is the same floor plan, I believe, and this is
look at the one that sold for 960.
So I didn't hear your full question, but I think I know where you're going with your question. You have to start with the end in mind, right? So who are we selling to? We're selling to flippers. They're going to stage it and they're going to renovate it.
This looks like a flip.
This is a flip for sure. You can see the brass or gold hardware, whatever that is. The marble.
Well, it's the new shaker cabinets, the obligatory farm sink.
I was just gonna say
the Calcutta quartz.
Yeah,
it's like
I think I saw
copycat flipper 101. Yeah, HDTV ready, right?
So this to me, I think is an actual comp because it's retail ready, right? So if you're struggling to find a comp in the area that's retail ready, number one, you might want to question liquidity in the area, right? And number two, I would, you can bet that that number is conservative at that point because it's actually not a retail ready comp. Does that make sense? I hate, this is just a side note. I hate when they stage rooms and they just put like a random desk in the middle of it.
Well, that's to show you that
It's
a
not very
bedroom can
functional.
be used as an office.
Yeah, like
In
we
case
could-
you didn't know that,
Yeah, right.
well, let's
We could-
point it, but it also, it's like those beds, dragging in those beds or the make-believe beds, a pain in the butt. Bedrooms require so much more furniture to stage convincingly.
So we're at 960. We'll just say 960 because I can't see market data here. So we want to take that 960, and you got something to write with your mic.
Yeah, I'm writing down.
So if we're at 960, we want to make, most flippers want to make anywhere from 7 to 10%. If you're dealing with a power buyer, they're doing multiple projects in an area, then I don't think Simi Valley might not be one of those areas, but like LA, for example, we're right now in contract with one of the biggest buyers in California, and they've got like multiple transactions every single week. So their margins are thinner, but generally speaking, 7 to 10%, right? So if we're trying to make 7 to 10%, and we also have agent fees of, let's just say 5%, and you've got like, extraneous escrow and holding and other closing costs associated to it, roughly 7%. That's 17% subtracted from 100%, which is retail value, right? So that 96, that 960, we're going to times this number by 86. Excuse me, 83, which is 796. And then we got to figure renovation costs. So it really all just depends. If we were in the millions, I might bump the number up in terms of my price per square foot, but I would say $60 a square foot is probably a safe guess with this project. So you are at 2498. So if I take 2498 and I times it by $60 a square foot, I'm at 150K. I'm going to round up. We're at 149.8, but I'm going to round up to 150. Okay, what was the first number? The first number I gave you was what? Uh-oh, is he following me?
I'm listening.
83% of the 960 was what? It was 796.
Okay.
So the
sorry.
796, we're going to subtract 150, and we're at 646. But you want to wholesale this and you haven't attached your assignment fee to it yet.
Great.
So if we're at 646, I'm going to take that 646 and I'm going to times it by 0.3. So you're looking at like 20K, 21K, right? 25K maybe, if you're lucky. This is on market, so I don't push it if it's on market.
Why did you do a 0.3? I thought it was 10%. I lost you right there.
Yeah. So basically what we're doing, hold on, let me just pull up a random.
So what he's doing is he's figuring the profit off, so he's taking
Well,
7.
no, but I thought it was 10% of the ARV. I didn't, where's
It
the
could be
30?
10, it could be 7. What he's using in this case is a 7% profit. Then he's
No,
going
no,
to subtract the repair cost, and
Let me
then
Oh.
let me jump in. Let me jump in because she lost me. So let's do it one step at a time. So we're at 960, right?
Yep, I've got you all the way to the last.
That 3% is our assignment fee. Right. So 960.
Got it.
so you're taking the profit, the cost of repairs and the assignment fee. You're subtracting all 3 of those from the ARV to get what's called MAO, maximum allowable offer.
So this is
This is a
10%.
calculation you need to have embedded in your brain. All of
Glad I
you.
got it. I got all that. Good. So 83%. Okay. Got it.
And guys, don't get caught up on this stuff like, well, 7%, would you say 6%? Just trust me. Okay, so now if we're at 760 and excuse me, I keep saying the wrong numbers. What's
I
wrong with my
want
brain?
10% personally as a flipper.
796.
Right, so 10% profit, 7 closing commissions, costs, holding, etc. So we're at 796, right? And then so we're at $60 a square foot in terms of what we're going to be paying for in terms of reno. Can you guys see that better now? And so we're at 24.98. So we're taking that times 24.98, which is 150K. I'm gonna round up. So we're subtracting this 150 from that 796. We're at 648. And then so now I'm taking this number, and this is why I think I lost it, Cindy. I look at this as like on points, like an agent would take, right? So if we're at 3% of that number, somewhere around like 24, 25K, something like that. But I would probably go with 20K on this one. So 20K assignment. So if I take 20K off that number, we're looking at 628 is my MAO. My maximal allowable offer. You guys follow?
Mhm.
Yeah. And that area is holding. I mean, if you look at the market, they're flipping them
Yeah.
like 60 days,
Yeah, it's a good market for sure.
30 to 60. I was looking at. Anyway, it's nice to meet you because I'm in Simi Valley too, by the way.
Oh, squat up. Squat up.
I know this area like the back of my hand. I drive it all the time. So
There's your boots on the ground right there.
Yeah, I'm in Thousand Oaks, so close as well.
okay, so we're like right next to each other. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Yeah.
Yeah, DM me. Let's chat after.
Yeah, you guys should
The
squat.
the one question I had, Patrick, was just on the $60 a square foot. I know that there's averages, but I'm wondering how much flexibility is there in that price? Are you estimating that based off of like to get to that same level of like quality that other comp at 960 was? You're thinking the $60 a square foot is what it would take us to get there, and if we didn't want to necessarily put it on the market as like such a nice product, maybe it doesn't have to have all the nice fixtures and hardware in the kitchen. We could, lower it down. Does that raise my maximum allowable offer to be more competitive?
I think you could get away with $60 a square foot because I think it's going to even out because of the size of the house, because you're not technically spending that much money per square foot with these larger houses. You're spending money on the kitchen, the bathroom, right? So that being said, I think it would even out. And that's more of the art than the science of this. That's just how my brain works. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't hurt to call a couple contractors and ask them, hey, I got this house, and just show them some pictures and be like, what do you think if I were to just like get this retail ready, and show them the before and afters? And of course they're going to say something like, oh, well, I need to walk it. And you reply, I totally know that's how this should work, but like just ballpark it. So just so I have a general idea.
Understand also that this does not account for major system repairs, such as a new roof, foundation issues. We say this over and over again, new HVAC system. Major system repairs are going to add to that per square foot amount.
And Gary, that actually is, I don't want to hog everyone's time, but that was, that led right into a follow-up question I had, was how much of this is really just an upfront try to get your offer accepted versus once it actually gets into escrow, then we get into those details about here's like some actual real functional things that need to be
No,
updated.
professional buyers are going to eliminate that before their EMD is in the pot,
Yeah, but I think he's talking about wholesaling and strategically getting it under contract. Is that what I'm hearing, Mike?
Yeah, and just how much should I really leave to the escrow phase to renegotiate certain things that do pop up? I understand you want to try to find all that out in advance, but Like
I'll
what
tell you
kind of
what.
things strategically would you wait for?
I'll tell you what, when I first started doing this, I was like, I don't ever want to renegotiate price. I literally said this in team meetings. I don't want to be known for that. Now I say if it's on market, that is the standard. Like, because you have to remember that they're being represented by a seller agent, it's on market, and they expect to maximize their profit. Now, that's not to say that, like, I don't want to steer you wrong, because there are certain circumstances where we do bid over, but the numbers have to make sense at that point. And we're still able to dispo it, even if we're over ask. But the numbers got to make sense. But in a lot of these cases, their asking price will not make sense, because they see retail value minus how much it might cost to get it to retail value as the actual value, right? And they're selling to who? Retail buyers. They're not selling to investors. So what they don't account for is that margin of spread, that cost associated with flipping the property and reselling the property that you will incur in the actual value of the home for an investor. Do you follow me?
Mhm.
So most of the time, I would say like 95% of the time, maybe even more, it is not priced appropriately for an investor. And so you're going to have to, in certain circumstances, lock it up at close to, like, I was literally just having this conversation yesterday with a new team member, because she was like, you know, we showed her exactly what we need the property at. And she's like, okay, so should I try to lock it up at that? And I was like, no, lock it up at the price that we would actually dispo it at, get it under contract, and work them on price to get the sell price that we need. And I was like, you're going to find problems with the property after you have it under contract. That's what I told her. Right. And we have a process for that. So that's the name of the game. Unfortunately, that's what this is. But the better you get at knowing your numbers and being able to communicate that, number one, creating a context with that selling agent. Look, you said you were willing to work with investors. That's still the case? Great, John. Well, let me tell you what, we need to make 7 to 10% net on this. And here are our numbers. You and I both agree that the ARV is 960, right, John? Great. Well, if I were to resell this, I need to start at this number because I've got 5% commissions, and then I've got another 2% of all these other fees. Okay, we're still on the same page. Great. Well, I got 2,400 square feet I'm dealing with. I'm at about $60 a square foot here, John. That puts me at this number, right? If you can break it down for them after you create context and they're open to listen to you, they might go back to their seller and be like, this guy knows what the hell he's talking about. I think we should sell to him. And
Yeah.
still get, you know, I have an agent right now we're working with. She doesn't want to go on market. She wants to sell to us because she knows she's going to deal with a shitstorm for 60 to 120 days. And she doesn't want to do it. She just wants a cash offer and she wants to be done with it.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah, immensely.
Okay. Sometimes you're going to have to do it. Most of the time you're going to have to do that. It's a delicate balance, and between like not losing rapport, getting the contract, and being able to keep rapport while renegotiating the price.
Cool. Roger that.
All right. Next time I see you, Mike, I expect you to have this under contract.
Okay. I'll work on it.
I got buyers for it.
All right, Stephen, let's bring Stephen up. Is your, yeah, his video's on.
Steven, what's up, man?
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How
I've
are you?
got very good, thank you. This is going to be a repeat of what Mike just did. I've got a couple properties. The first one, if we got time for two, I'll just skip it. But the guy told me I should walk the property before he'll take an offer.
Is this on market or off market?
They're both on market. They're
Okay.
both, I got two on market. Let's just try, 12882. 12882. Kamloops, KAM Loops. It's in Pacoima. I think it's priced pretty good. That's it. I think that ARV is around 720.
Okay, I know where this is.
There was another one, same price point. I talked to the realtor and she got stampeded and she was pretty bitter. But that price in that neighborhood, I think it even works to flip it.
What do you mean she got stampeded? What does that mean?
Just she was just so many showings and a lot of investors, and she didn't feel like she got treated properly, et cetera, et cetera. But
Get used
that
to
one
it.
was already gone. But this is a similar price, covered in wood.
I'm wondering if this is already in our pipeline. Yep, this is a. I'll tell you right now, we're
Also,
actually,
because you could put an ADU there, don't you think?
we're, I'll be completely transparent with you. We're already bidding on this one, Stephen. But
All right.
I mean, I will give you my opinion on it because I don't even know the
Yeah,
number.
please, can you just go through the numbers? So if I see if I'm in the ballpark.
100%. You better put your offer in soon before we beat you.
So the question is, are you going to switch to your actual underwriting or are you going to do it on the fly?
Yeah, I didn't underwrite this one. I don't really underwrite anything on my team anymore.
Yeah, but it's there in the CRM.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to show them our numbers. Are you
Uh-huh.
kidding? No, that's not going to happen.
Can I
Um,
ask, Patrick, can I ask something? Because Coima is kind of a scary area. So are you just looking to rent this out? And I'm
Cindy,
so,
if you're going to keep talking, I want to spotlight you. That means you have to turn your video on.
I love how aggressive Cindy is. I appreciate it. You know what, Cindy? You remind me of home. Because in my household growing up, we would get interrupted mid-sentence most of the time.
Me too.
I love doing that to you, Patrick. Doesn't it make you feel at home?
It does. Cindy, what was your question? You're on mute, sweetie.
She
well,
did.
Coima technically is a gang area. So my question is to you, if you were, what do you do when you're doing this? Are you renting it or what is your strategy on this one? And I guess I'm slow because I'm not understanding what you guys are doing on this one.
Well, I believe he's trying to wholesale this.
Got it.
This area, what you say may be true, but there's houses going for $1 million over there.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. Like, everything around here is crazy, but I used to get beat up there. That's why I was asking. So I haven't gone there in like 20, 30 years, but okay. So you would wholesale it. Okay, I'll be quiet now and go away.
It looks like there's
Someone's going to be willing to flip it.
yeah,
They do it in Compton, they do it in Inglewood, they do it in South LA there. So these are all known gang areas.
it might be harder to find a buyer in specific circumstances if it is
Is
truly
13183 Goleta on your list there? 13183 Goleta.
no, I'm not seeing that one. Is that a comp?
It's a 3-1 that sold June 22nd, 714 square feet, and it sold for $690, but it was a nice rehab. They did a nice job. There's another rehab that sold for $760, which was a 3-2, but it had more square feet, 1467. That was on Rincon. Yeah, that's 690 there.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so we're a 3. So okay, we're a 3-1 at 11. This is a 3-1 at 714.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Lot size is about the same. Okay.
The build is the same. Pretty close.
All right. Well, let me comp this real fast. So again, I'm gonna take out anything that's over here. We'll leave these guys for a moment. 1902, we're taking that out for sure. 735. Let's just go with.
I'm offering like 530, Patrick. What are you offering?
Oh, I'm never gonna show you my hand, dude. That's just not gonna happen. But nice try. Okay.
Mhm.
I already asked them that question, Stephen, if we're gonna go there or not. Pull open, as they say, open the kimono.
Yeah,
Team is acting like my personal agent here.
So at this point, once I got it narrowed down to the year or the timeline that it sold, the build years plus or minus 10, and I'm looking at the bed and bath count, I'm kind of looking now at like what sold, like and how much, and I'm looking at the high prices, and then I'm cross-referencing the square footage to see if it's close. Right. So I'm seeing this one at 760, this one at 750, 700. Those ones are catching my eye. And then I'm flipping back over to see the square footage. And really the closest that I see is this one here. It's a 1947 3-1, and it's sitting at 1,157 square feet, which is just slightly larger than ours. It sold in May. So that might be
What
the
does that
closest.
look like?
This looks really nice.
Yeah, somebody did a detailed job on this, even did the outside.
And they've got a gate for Cindy, so she'll feel safe.
That'll keep the gang members out for sure.
All right, guys, maybe it's like everything's changing. I don't know. That used to be a really.
Everything's always gentrifying, Cindy.
I know. You know what? At this point, yeah.
So I think this is a fair comp. 3-1. Let me see if I'm missing anything. It's a 2-car garage. What does ours have? Is there a garage?
Maybe in the back,
I think
yeah,
they're-
It's
detached.
got a, yeah, correct.
So I think this is doable. I mean, I don't know anything about the foundation. That looks raised to me.
Yeah,
But
it
this
looks
is
like it's got a crawl space there. So it doesn't look like it's on slab.
so yeah, the next question would be, what do you need per square foot? It looks like the electrical may be updated. And I don't know what's going on with the plumbing. I might bump up.
That's an enclosed back porch. And
Oh, I see.
this one,
Are they adding that to the square footage?
I hope not. That looks like it needs to come down.
So that's one question I'd call and ask about. Are you adding that addition? What's permitted? What's not permitted? What are you adding into the square footage here? Because if that's not permitted, then that's going to drastically change your numbers. But let's just assume for a moment that that's the case. I think your ARV is, oop, did I lose my ARV? What did I say? 700?
It's in
760.
privy.
750, 760.
Okay.
That's higher than I thought.
Assuming that these numbers are correct, I would also look at market data to see where this number was, if it was higher or lower, because the market will go down in next month. It will go down.
It's gone down a little bit. I think I looked at it.
It's just
Not
gonna have
much.
it's gonna have a seasonal drop. It does it every year. But you want to just take a look at, more importantly, where were the numbers at in May comparatively to this 750, right? Don't think too much about it, just take action. So 750, I'm just gonna be conservative and bump my reno up. So if we're at 750, I'm gonna come in at 83%. So I'm at 622. We're sitting at 1122 square feet. So
66.
I'm gonna take $70 a square foot. Oops.
77,000.
So at 78, I'm gonna round up to 80.
$542.
I want to make probably about 15K on this, 20K on this. So I'm at like 522.
Okay.
Does that all make sense?
I thought 530. So I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's about right. But I would call. I'm sure if I looked in my CRM, I would have the notes on what's going on with that. But I'm not pulling out the details, my friend. You got to make that call. Trust sale, no court confirmation. Yeah, it's so funny. I think I actually just talked to one of my team members about this one today. You better get on it before we snap it up. All right, Stephen, does that help out?
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. Good. Thank you for hanging out with us.
So next up is Abraham.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
It's funny. I actually did jujitsu like in walking distance from that house just, I don't know, 7-8 years ago.
Really? Where
but
do you
I'm-
train?
So did you win?
Now
or
I'm
did-
in Florida. No, I lost. I got crushed by gang members. It was worth. Cindy thought she had it bad.
I'm telling you, Lionel, I'm telling you, that's what
Oh,
happened
she
to
is.
me.
You're not supposed to fight back.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, so I'm in Florida now. And I'd love for you to look at a property. I have a couple of questions about it. One is that it's in a country club community. And these country clubs, they have like an initiation fee. It's like 60 grand, 100 grand just to join the club. So if you're buying a house there, you got to pay that. Now, some of them have
Super high-end
exemptions.
Country club.
Exactly. Some of them have exemptions. And some of them don't. And I'm still waiting to hear back from the HOA to see like, hey, look, can I just get in there for a few months? Because I'm not wholesaling. I'm actually going in and flipping it. Can I get in there and do my thing and, put it back in the market? For some people, that's okay. For some, it's not. I asked the agent, I said, well, can we do like a novation agreement? Can we do something where it doesn't trigger any sort of, new buyer or new owner or whatever? And they said, look, it's an elderly person. They're already out. They're just trying to get rid of it as soon as possible. So I was curious, to see, is there any other sort of creative ways to go about skirting that sort of initiation membership fee kind of situation? And then the second question I'll ask after.
Lease option purchase.
Okay.
I know how to
So
write that in Florida. I know how to do it in California, but that's how I would do it. That's my newest way of doing novation. So you take a lease, you have an separate option agreement, and a separate purchase agreement. And they need to be crafted in a very deliberate way that gives you all the rights that you're looking for.
Mhm.
And that way the initiation fee will only kick in when it goes out in the market.
got it. So from the seller standpoint, they're trying to offload it as soon as possible. Would that mean that they would still be the owner for longer? I mean,
yeah, you'd have a firm, you'd be renovating it while they still owned it. I mean, if the deed's going to change hands, the chances are what these country clubs are doing is I think many of them are making up for the sins of the previous owners, which kicked the can on funding the reserves. And so all of a sudden, 30, 40 years later, they were built in the 70s and 80s. And now we're, if 40, 50 years down the road and there's not enough money in the reserve funds and the roads need to be replaced and the roofs need to be done. And, so I think that's a lot of what's driving that, because I'm seeing that up, I'm seeing those fees 10, 15, 20, 30. initiation fees out here as well in these leisure properties. And,
Right.
you know, where are you exactly in Southern Florida?
Parkland, so Broward County, but this
Yeah.
one is in Palm Beach County.
Okay. Yeah, the high-end places that people can afford to drop that kind of money on nothing.
Yeah, my only
Right.
concern would be, I mean, transactionally, yeah, that does make sense. But like, let's say he starts renovation on this thing and you got contractors outside and, you know, you're throwing stuff in dumpsters and whatnot. Like, I just feel like they're going to hassle him, you know, about the renovation.
Well, technically, the renovation's happening under the previous owner. That's how I structured Joshua Tree.
Oh, really?
It's not in a condo or an HOA, but yeah, absolutely.
So you would just have to give disclosure to the seller that they're going to be contacted about it. Most likely.
Well, the seller has to know how you're structuring this. Because you're
Right.
gonna say, Mr. Seller, look, otherwise I've got to lower the price going to you by that initiation fee. You know, you're gonna end up getting stuck with it. But this is only gonna work if they can't sell it. If they're having trouble selling.
Right. Exactly. If there's competition, forget it.
Right. If
Yeah.
there are people jumping to buy it, then you have to figure out, can I get that initiation fee built in there somehow?
Yeah.
Either by getting it from off the purchase price or
I think the challenge also is that the family doesn't really want to deal with it. I mean, the owner is elderly and sickly, and their focus and attention is on him, and they don't want this headache.
how many
So
days on market?
it's like I think it's like a week or two.
Yeah,
Yeah, it hasn't been long.
it may take a while before you wear them down.
It might.
I mean,
The
you
other
can always
question-
let me run this by you. This is one way we can do this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you may or may not be interested. What will happen is as soon as I'm done renovating, it'll go on the market, you'll get all your money.
Right.
I
Yeah,
have
and
a
if they're
seller
truly
that's more
motivated.
than happy to do that just to get out already.
Yeah. And
Right.
if,
But then, sorry, go ahead, Patrick.
I was just going to say, if they're truly motivated, you'll get it under contract in 14 days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the other thing is, if they're still the owners and I'm renovating, then anything to do with the HOA, they have to respond to and deal with. So again,
No,
but
you would
I would
have
play.
them give you a
right.
power of attorney to deal with
Okay.
the HOA. Or
Okay.
I would work that in
Okay.
there,
Got
Like,
it.
and things that need to be in the option agreement portion is stuff like you acknowledge and understand that we're undertaking this project to resell the property at a profit because you're going to have a separate purchase agreement that activates when you're ready to sell it. So you're going to be making a margin. So those kinds of disclosures should be in there. So there's no dispute down the road. Look, we laid it all out. What's going on here when, full transparency. And they're going to have to trust that you know what you're doing. So
Yep.
this might be a hard sell depending on, where their heads are at and
Yep.
how motivated they are.
Got it. Okay, so that's helpful. I guess the only other question I had was, since I am newer to this and to comping, I want to make sure that, like, I'm not seeing things that or is inputting things that are actually not there. So if we could just take a minute and take a look at it.
Well, yeah, well,
is that
here's
cool?
what you need to know about comping those properties. You stay within the boundaries of the HOA, period. You do not
Right,
ever
which I'm
go
doing.
outside, do not go outside those walls.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so basically, here's what I'll just say this: that so like the house is from 2000, and all the properties in the community that are in the 90s and around that time are priced around the 3s and 4s. But I've seen comps that are like 6s and 7s, but those are the ones that are HGTV ready. Obviously, somebody went in, could be the owner or could be a flipper that went in and put in the shaker cabinets, made
Right.
it look super sexy, and those are getting
And
much
that's
more
your
higher price
goal,
tag.
right?
And
That's
that's
your
my
goal
goal.
as a
That's
flipper.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing to think about, because Florida, some of these HOAs are a little more sprawling and they have different neighborhoods that are, okay, the 4,000 and 5,000 square foot homes are in Stonegate, and then there's, the Plaza, or, whatever those little neighborhoods are called.
Right.
When you're
Got it.
doing
Got
comping
it.
those in like the Polo Club in Boca, I can think of it's like that, so
Okay.
there's all, you have to stay in that neighborhood. You can't, comp it to the better
So
neighborhood.
even within the one community, there could be like kind of little
Well, those are
sub-communities in that.
sub-communities, right? So when they're built like that,
Okay.
and they're just like, here we have Thunderbird Heights, Thunderbird Terrace, Thunderbird, there's 4 different
Right.
Thunderbirds, and each one is in its own price category. They
There's
were
Magic
developed
Kingdom
at
and
different time,
Epcot.
right? Yeah, Epcot. You can't, even though they're all within the walls of Disney, you can't go to the water park and compare it to Epcot.
So is there some way to see that on Privy or Redfin, or is that something like, I mean, how would I know that?
What are the community names?
Well, so yeah, like how would I know if in this one particular community, like would I just look at their pamphlet and they say, hey,
Yeah,
this is
you
where the
should
rich
be
people
able
are
to
and the poor people
tell.
are here?
Yeah, I would do research online. If not,
Okay.
call a realtor and say, hey, could you just tour me through this community? I'm kind of interested, and I'd like to see what different neighborhoods they have to offer and such. So
Okay.
that's another way to get a tour in there. If I were gonna buy in here,
Right.
is it all the same? Are they different?
Right.
What's
Well,
what's the risk here for him, Gary?
Not knowing what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's
So let me
always
ask you this. And by the way, I'm asking for you because I'm not familiar with this. Like for me, I wouldn't go into it because I don't know what I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm hiring a business coach, because I've never started a wholesale business. We're making money now, but I want to hire somebody to come in and make us even better. So have you flipped before?
No, it's first flip.
Okay. Okay, cool. I mean, for me, it sounds risky, right? Because like you're kind of like, all right, we're gonna do this whole lease agreement thing. Like I got power of attorney. You don't know what you don't know. So I don't know. It sounds risky to me for your first flip. On the flip side, the fact that it's built in 2000, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of problems unless there's a ton of building problems with the company who built all those houses. So I would find out that is there any uniform issues with the properties. But other than that, it seems like, there's some unknowns that
Well,
seems.
and leisure properties, there's some other factors that make property values go up and down as well, such as, it's usually, generally speaking, more desirable to be on a fairway or by a green
Right.
than on a green belt.
I would also look at the
People are going to
hold
pay
times.
premium for view, for location.
Yeah.
Because these are retirement communities, there's a preference for people being close to the clubhouse where they're all going to hang out. If you can walk to the clubhouse, that's sometimes an advantage. Proximity to, there could be 30, 40 pools in a complex like that. And some people really like to be right out their door into the pool, but most people are like close, but not too close. I don't want to hear the kids screaming,
Yeah.
when the
This,
grandkids.
in other words, this sounds like a black belt project, and perhaps you're a blue belt. You know what I'm saying? So you want to consider like, should I be doing this? That's just the way my brain works. Like I was all over the place when I first started, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on one thing. I'm going to focus on the basics. And now I could do it in my head, right? I can underwrite in my head. So now, okay, great. Now I'm onto creative. Now I'm closing creative deals. Okay, great. Now we're doing multifamily. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not telling you what to do. I would never do that because people need to do what they're going to do.
Right.
But I always weigh things out and try to create simple filters for myself, because you may end up looking back and going, damn, I spent a lot of time on that, and it turned out it wasn't actually a good opportunity for me when I could have been focusing on making money.
To
That's just my
Patrick's point, you might want to cut your teeth on a condo, a 1 or 2 bedroom condo. Work your way. So learn to work with HOAs. They're a pain in the ass. The management companies really are aggravating. I had one stick their hands in my escrow when they shouldn't have, and I ended up getting the money back, but I had to threaten to sue them. I had to point out that they violated the bylaws of the HOA, in doing what they did. And, you know, I just started working my way up in management, and I said, you should be embarrassed. Give me my money back or I will file a lawsuit. And they gave
Yeah.
me money back.
One other thing you might want to consider doing, because if you're really going to dive in and spend a lot of time, energy, and money and risk everything on this, is I would go to public records, go see who's flipped in that area, find their LLC, do some deep prospecting, get their number, and say, hey, I'm just reaching out because I noticed that you flipped a property in this area. I'm considering doing the same. I just had a few quick questions. If you've got time, I'd greatly appreciate it. And then ask them, what was the process like? Like, what do I not know what I'm getting myself into?
Yeah.
Right.
Then he
Well,
says,
I
just
can-
wholesale it.
Yeah, and then you can turn around and just sell it to that person after you find out how hard it really is.
Yeah. But so I know how to do that in Privy, to, you know, like just going and finding flips, right? And finding who did that. But are you saying go and check public records, and how would I do that on like a
Basically, the way that we
county
find buyers,
website?
we do exactly that. We find the flipping criteria through Privy, for example. And then we look up the entity name, and then from the entity name we go to open corporates. From open corporates we find the agent name, and then there's usually a registered address. If the registered address is an actual residence, it becomes very easy to find that person's information. If not, then it can be a little bit tougher. Sometimes you can just Google the entity name and something will pop up as well.
Okay.
You can sometimes reverse search the address that you come up with and see if it's not just a mail drop. The other thing you can do is, if you have a relationship with a title company, find out when they sold it, who signed the deed, and go after that person.
That's a ninja tip.
That's
Yeah.
a ninja tip.
Yeah.
That's my identity buster, pierce the corporate veil every time.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is, like, when I first started, I was afraid to talk to escrow officers. I thought they were going to be like, I'd say hello and they would say fraud. You know what I mean? Like, but they're actually really easy to talk to in my experience. I've actually, at this point, I've talked to a lot of escrow officers, and most of them just want to cover their ass, and they'll help you do whatever the hell you want to do as long as they're not at risk.
Patrick,
They're
I was in a Zoom with Lanza, and he challenged me to find out who this corporate was, you know, who owned this LLC. And it took me about 10 minutes. And I said, there's some shady characters named Vincent and Ann Lanza running this LLC.
That's funny.
Now, how did you find that? I pulled the deed, dummy. You both signed the deed. You know, you dig deep enough, you pull the layers of the onion far enough back, there it's going to be, down in the center there.
Detective work. Yeah.
Yeah, let us know how this progresses, bro. That's
Cool.
actually really interesting, and I'd be interested to
Yeah.
hear more about how it all pans out.
I mean, the main thing, I'll just say this, is that, you know, we're definitely trying to get into a flip, but here in Southern Florida, it's like super saturated. So anything that comes on the market, like a distressed property, or like, you know, we're working with wholesalers, but it's just like, it's like a human centipede. So many daisy chain, you know, people that by the time it gets to us, the numbers don't even work. So,
Yeah.
you know, anyway.
With
that's why.
wholesaling, one thing that I can give you, because we get the same shit. Like when we're dispoing, we'll vet them, we'll ask for their entity information and projects they worked on so we can cross-reference. But on the buyer side, what I would say is, yeah, I'm interested. Send me the contract. Once I have the contract, we can talk again. And that's going to cut like 80% of those conversations to a screaming halt. Because they don't have the contract. Or like, oh yeah, I'll get back to you. And then it's like they take 2 weeks to get the contract. They never had the contract.
Right.
So that's
Love
a real
it.
quick way.
Cool.
So was
Well,
that
thank you.
helpful, Abraham? We dropped
Oh my God.
bunch of gems
Jeez.
there, right?
Whew. I can't believe I haven't paid you guys a couple $1,000s yet.
I
This
can
is
tell you where to
perfect.
send the check. Don't worry.
Please do. By the way, Patrick, I like the Jensen Cero book behind your head there. It's a good one.
Which one?
The You Are a Badass.
Oh, these are actually cards.
The cards, right?
They're
she
just
does the
like they're
cards,
like
right?
thank you cards, and I've never signed any of them. So I just
Got
like
it.
it says you're a badass. It reminds me.
All right, I just know Lionel's looking to bite your head off,
Yep,
Patrick.
he's got something for me.
I'm going to bring
Thanks for
him
hanging out
up
with us,
here.
Abraham.
All right, thanks, Abraham.
Lionel, what's up, dude?
How's it going, guys?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, good, good. Hey, what I've been doing is just focusing on the low equity, expired listing type stuff.
Cool.
And that's what I've been kind of running across. I actually found the deal yesterday. And my question is, where do I submit you the deal leads that I get?
Have you talked to the seller and or agent?
Yeah, I talked to the agent yesterday. This house has been on the market for 158 days with no action. The customer has already moved out. And
Where can people find that submission link, Patrick?
It's in the chat.
just put
All
it.
right, but where else can they find it if they,
They can find it in the chat.
but, okay. It's not posted in the elephant chat?
No, we should pin a post and we should put,
Yeah, I'll pin it, yeah.
yeah, we'll put some links in there, guys. But yeah, so, and the reason that I ask if you've called, guys, or Lionel and those listening is that
Lionel, wait, Lionel, you got that link copied and saved
Yeah.
somewhere?
Yeah, I
Saved,
got it
right?
saved. It's in my
Yeah,
favorites now. Got it.
there's criteria on that page, but for those of you guys who are listening, and this is actually something that I wanted to bring up, and Lionel, I'm going to go off on a tangent. I hope you don't mind.
That's okay. Do you think?
I saw a post from a baby elephant, and if they're in this meeting, you know, don't take this the wrong way. This is tough love, and I want you to hear this if you're in this meeting. And if you're watching the replay, I still want you to hear this. This baby elephant, they posted, hey, I've got this opportunity. It's this interest rate. It's on market, this blah, blah, blah. Here's the information. I don't call sellers or agents. I'm just an opportunity finder or whatever. Guys, don't do that to yourself. Don't label yourself something that's not going to help you get to the finish line. You guys have to step outside of your comfort zone. You think I knew how to do any of this when I first started? I didn't want to pick up the phone. I was scared to be on conversations, like I just admitted about escrow officers. I was shaking in my boots the first time I called an escrow officer, and it turns out they're some of the easiest people to talk to. So you have to get on the phone. You got to take action. You got to, you know what? You have to be okay with failing. Failure is not bad. Failure can be bad depending upon how you look at it. If you look at it like, you know, you're never going to be able to do something, or, you know, you're never going to get better or whatever, or you just not good enough. Yeah, failure is bad. But if you look at failure as, well, what can we learn from that? How can I get better? Then you will over time, and you will close more deals. Okay. So I went off a little tangent here, but I wanted to say that because when I see people posting something like that, I don't want other people to glom onto that type of idea, because that's a disempowering idea. You guys got to take action. And Lionel over here is taking action. He called somebody, he made contact, and they're interested. So let me ask you this, Lionel. You talked about what, sub 2?
Yes.
Okay. And so they were interested in the idea. And did you mention to them that the loan will stay in the seller's name?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Actually, he was when I called him and I told him, you know, kind of went through my pillars and the whole deal or whatever. This property has a FHA assumable on it, and I told him, I said, so you have no problem with us taking it over, you know, subject to the finance. He said, yeah. So I said, okay, perfect. So he kind of gave me some of the other stuff that's with it. He got the property listed for 509, and I did your math on it. It came out to 458, and it has a loan balance of 441,925, leaving 16,175 on it. And it also has a solar unit on it. It's $115 a month, or either 29,000 to pay it off.
Is this a single family home?
Single family home is a 3-3, I believe. Let me pull it back.
No HOA.
No HOA. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
It's a 4.2 1892 square.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
And
And then how much reno does it need?
It's perfect. It's ready to go. It's clean. If you put it up,
Lionel, don't you get me excited, bro.
no, I'm telling you, it's clean. If I give you the address, you can pull it up.
Well,
It's-
let's keep that under our hat.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
because I don't want these other knuckleheads trying to squeeze in on my deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This property, I used to live in this area here, and this property rent out right now between probably $3,200 and $3,500 a month.
Love it. Okay, so we're gonna pay out some equity. What's the loan at?
The loan is at 441,925.
No, sorry.
Percent.
What's the interest rate?
Oh, it's 3.2 or 3. Let me see, where is that one?
No, oh, you're gonna get You're getting Patrick all heated
It's,
up here.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
It's 3%,
Oh Lord,
3% FHA.
that is a deal, Lionel.
Yeah,
I'll
3%.
tell you what, if I might have to put you on my team if we close this.
Until you find out there's a railroad track going right through the
Yeah.
backyard, right?
No, this is a good neighborhood. It's a newer neighborhood. I know these neighborhoods because when I was in construction, I used to take supplies to those neighborhoods. So it also has a mortgage. The monthly PITI is 1945.
It'll cash flow. I don't even need to know it. It'll cash flow at that.
Yeah,
3 1/4 will cash flow, no problem.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Submit it to me and then I'll take it from there.
All right, sound like a plan.
As soon as you guys, by the way, guys, those of you who are listening, as soon as you guys submit a lead, what will happen is I'll be notified. If I disqualify the lead, I will email you why. Okay. But I want to know kind of like, number one, again, like I said, you guys have to be able to have already gauged motivation, had the conversation like Lionel did, and then what the exit strategy is. All right, guys. Lionel, good work, man. All-star, dude. All-star. Appreciate you, man.
Shakim is up next.
I knew all these meetings would pay off, Gary. Shakima, what's up? We're hanging out a lot lately.
Hi, yes, I know. I'm always here.
Love it.
Okay, Patrick. So the lead that I sent you, I called the agent and I texted her and she didn't respond back to me. So what
Big,
should I do?
that's a shocker.
I know.
What time did you call her?
Hold on. Let me go on
Look,
the
guys,
phone.
most agents are not Gary. They're not unicorns. They're not going to pick up their phone. They're not full-time agents, by the way. They're not grinding like Gary is. Most agents, what you'll find, and this is what I know from our data, they'll pick up their phones between like 4 and 6. Gary, have you noticed that agents don't normally pick up their phones? Gary's on his phone right now.
Yes,
See that?
yeah.
He's actually
Well,
answering.
no, the problem is after you close the property, it chases you if you're an agent. Any problem, the other agent or the new owner, your buyer will call you
Is
first.
that what's going on right now?
Wait, we got you a home warranty, right?
Yep.
Have you called them? No, I thought I'd call you first. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. But I suggest you call the home warranty because I'm not going to come out and fix it for you. They will,
Micah says they are rude. Micah, some
I
agents
called her
are-
at 1:30 and then I texted her right after when she didn't pick up.
You could call multiple times or you can call between 4 and 6. Those are 2 options. But yeah, you just got to stay on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Look.
pretty soon they'll call you just to say go away.
Yeah, and that's when you know you got to go away. I would say like, what was the statistic that Pace gave us? 30, I think it said like 83% of the leads that they close are an average of like 8 to 12 follow-ups.
Okay.
Right. So agents are no different. You got to just
You could go to 20, 30 touches with people before they buy. So
for
whatever.
me, what I'll do is I'll do 3 text messages, 3 calls, a couple emails, and then I'll follow up like in a 2-week period of time. I'll follow up in another 2 weeks because by that time they've forgotten about you and they might pick up your call. And then sometimes they'll hit you up out of the blue. We've had agents text us back after 30 days and go, "Hey, my seller's finally ready." Sometimes agents don't want to talk to you because they know their seller's not going to say yes at that point. So they just don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate, but that's just how some of them communicate.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep. Thank you.
Shakima, you got to remember, this is the grind. You're in an industry where there's a lot of competition and there's a lot of obstacles. You just got to keep going.
Right. Okay.
Cool. All right. Good work.
Anything else? So Jason Lee, where are you? I've been looking for the big truck.
My Cali boy, what's up? What's up, big dog?
Can't hear him.
So, hey, what's going on?
What's up?
So, I need some advice from you guys. I'm trying to stirring stuff up here. I have this agent that so I've been kind of doing agent outreach, and um this agent, she wanted to meet up in person, so I kind of met up with her, and she's kind of putting me to the test where she has a pocket listing, and I had a buyer that I was working with, but he just got his new project, so he's kind of MIA. So she's seeing if I'm going to perform or not, and she's asking me to. Obviously, it's her listing, so she wants both sides, but she also wants, when we flip it, for us to have her represent her as the seller.
Is this off
How do you
market?
guys? Yeah, it's off market.
If there's
So
enough
how
spread,
how would you guys maneuver?
yeah, there's no problem. If it's off market and it's their listing, you know, if they want to make 7.5 points, fine. I don't care as long as the numbers work and everybody's making money.
Yeah, but if I'm going to wholesale it, if I'm not the one flipping it,
Yeah,
Um,
you can't make that promise.
yeah,
Well,
I can't
we-
make that promise.
We
So,
do, we do, and we will.
so if you have a
it's-
buyer, I can show you the property.
Yeah, I mean, so if it's, are you under contract?
That's the thing. Not yet. And she just kind of sent it to me actually when we're in the Zoom. So she just texted to me right now. So
Send me. Do you have my link?
I do. The get my offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send me.
It's in
Send me the
Sherman
info.
Oaks. It's in Sherman Oaks.
Okay, cool. Send me the information.
Okay.
And then we'll work with you on it. I'll tell you where we need to be on it. Okay.
Great.
And I wouldn't
That's
normally
solid.
do that, but you've been in these meetings. I know your name. I
Hey,
know where you're at.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm gonna get you a deal. So that's what I've been trying
I
to
love
do.
it. I love it. But so like, I'll just tell you how I handle those things and
Uh-huh.
what I would tell an agent. If it's
Yeah.
their listing and it's on market, I say no problem. Anything you want.
Yeah.
That's what I say. No problem at all. We just want to make sure the numbers work.
And that's what I did too. When I met them in person, I mean, I pretty much built a rapport with them. So she's trusting me. So I just want to be able to perform for her.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Did we lose you? You're lagging a little bit.
He's in that truck. So,
I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to turn your video off because your audio is lagging.
yeah, we'll lose the spotlight. Probably.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Okay. So generally what I'll do is I wouldn't even tell the buyers. We'll just dispo
Oh.
at the price. And then once they're
Huh.
interested in it, they're fired up about it. I'll tell them, by the
Yeah.
way, they want to relist. And then we negotiate from there.
Okay.
And sometimes, you know, if the agent wants to sign a listing agreement, we'll have them do it in escrow. So we'll open
Hey, I
escrow
love it.
on the first
I love it.
transaction. We'll sign a listing agreement in escrow, and then they start to flip.
Yeah, and this girl, she's definitely she performs. So she's gonna bring a lot of opportunity.
Cool. Send it to me. Tell her that your partner is going to get a hold of her.
And she doesn't like anything sub 2, so she's put off by anybody sub 2 right now.
Because they keep spamming her or what?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, tell her I'm Pace's partner. That's true,
I
by
will
the way.
do.
We've
no,
partnered on a property.
tell her to stop taking low equity listings.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jason.
Love
I'll
it.
look for
Thanks.
that in
Appreciate it, guys.
my
Appreciate it.
pipeline, bro. I appreciate
All
you.
right, we're gonna bring it home
I will.
maybe here with Stephen Conley back again.
He's
Thanks,
back.
thank you. How do I handle this, Patrick? I suppose I just partner with you, but if I'm submitting an offer and they want proof of funds, or the agent wants proof of funds, or, you know, what have you done before? Should I just come to you and submit it, or what else?
Well, generally
What
they're gonna
option
want
is there?
they're gonna want proof of funds at the point of signing an RPA. So you can still submit like an email or an LOI and have them write it up. But what you want to get first is you want to get a verbal confirmation that they're going to write it up for you at your offer price. Because if they will, then that means that that price might work. Now, on this specific case, because we're already working in the area, and I could tell you for a fact this one's
No,
in my
I get it.
pipeline,
I get it.
you know, that changes things. Obviously, we're at that point, it's a conflict of interest for us.
No, I
So
understand. I understand that.
yeah, I would have to cross-reference my pipeline to make sure that that specific property wasn't already working. We weren't already working on it. But if it wasn't that case, that's how it would work.
So
Does
just
that-
go ahead, see if I'm close with the number, and then come back.
Yeah, exactly.
And you, and partner with you, you'll provide that. those
Exactly.
things. Okay.
Yeah. Before we had our automated system set up, what we used to do is my team member would email the agent and then CC me on the offer, and then I would respond with the proof of funds. I'm just letting you know that's how we used to do it. I'm not saying that's what we should do because I don't want my inbox blowing up. But all
Yeah.
you would say is just email them. This is what our offer is. Let me know if this is something that you can write up. Then I'll have my, partner reach out, and then that's when we take over.
Thanks. Okay. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Any final thoughts here?
Man, time flies when you are kicking ass in real estate. Kind of a fruitful day. What do you think? I mean, we've got some
That's
opportunities.
It's a good session today. We got lots of great questions. I think people are actually learning and getting better at this stuff. The level of the questions is growing.
Oh, yeah. So guys, one thing I would say, I mean, I think the biggest takeaway for you guys is take action, guys. I mean, I know I keep saying it, and I know it sounds simple, but so many people don't take action consistently. If I were to give you a simple metric to live by, I would say you should be making 10 connections a day. At 10 connections a day, 5 days a week, at 4.3 weeks in a month, you should be making 216 connections. If you close 1%, that's 2 deals. If you close 2 deals, you can walk away from your W-2. Okay. That is motivation. Now, do you see, if I break it down like that, how many of you guys in the chat tell me, when I break it down like that and you hear it like that, do you feel motivated? Yes or no? So when you do not want to get up early, when you do not want to pick up the phone, when you do not want to comp and you do not want to underwrite, you have to remind yourself of those numbers. You have to remind yourself of your goal. You have to ask yourself, how do I really want this? Okay, that is what motivation is. It's not inspiration. It's not watching a YouTube video, guys. That's not what we're talking about here. You have to know where you are, where you want to go, and what it's going to take to get there. And if you can continuously do that and take action, I promise, you will hit your targets. You will get to where you want to go. I know that because it happened with me, guys. I had a breakthrough. I was struggling, hitting a wall, asking Gary, what am I doing? Gary was like, leave me alone. Just kidding. Right? So guys, if you can do that, take action. All right. All right. Any last minute
So
questions?
speaking of Monday, how about we do some role play with this gang?
On Monday?
Role play, yeah. Or would you
Okay.
rather keep it for next Wednesday?
We can
Can
do
I
that.
ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Uh,
Who is?
sorry.
Yeah, I would just try to stop
Interrupting.
you, right? Is that Cindy? Is that
No,
Cindy?
it's Monica. I just
Monica.
I'm new. I'm a baby elephant, but yet I used to do it years ago, but the system, everything has changed. So I'm trying to just kind of follow maybe a step-by-step procedure of like how to get started. I go into the preview, I look for the properties, I start making the phone calls. But do I make the phone calls like when I look at the properties, do I look for like comps, like what is the steps in order to be a little more successful? Because like I'm a mom of 10 children and I'm like literally right now like I work all day pretty much, and I'm trying to put it at, I have a rideshare job too. So I try to do the phone calls during that time. But I feel like, I think I'm like either getting, putting the cart before the horse. And I'm not sure, like, do I look for the property first? Then when I find the property, do I contact the realtor, the seller, etc.? Or do I have to look like, make sure that the numbers are going to work out properly?
Right. Those are all good questions. So it sounds like, is this your first time in our meeting? Just curious.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
No worries.
sure.
Thank
Like
you.
I'm trying to follow the little start here.
100%. That's great. I'm going to put this in the chat. This is your homework. This is everyone's homework. I'm going to give
Awesome.
you
Thank
guys time to copy that. So this is kind of a step-by-step. How to get started with creative finance, how to build a real estate business, how to get started with wholesaling. All of those videos are good resources for you. They answer all those questions. And so I will say this. You said you had 10 kids?
Yes.
Okay. Step one would be employing some of those kids. All right.
Definitely.
You got 10, if they want to get fed, they've got to start doing some work. But seriously, if you've got kids, hey, have them help you out. I've got a little brother I'm going to start teaching this stuff to, and a niece I'm going to start teaching this stuff to. They're really young, but I'm going to start planting those seeds. Anyway, seriously, have them help you go through those steps. And the other thing that I was going to say, and this probably applies to a lot of you people in here, you got to be willing to sacrifice. Like, obviously, it looks like you're juggling a lot, but you have to figure out, when can I work? When can I work? And what am I going to have to give up to do that, to replace the other stuff that I don't want to do? Right. And that's really the question that you got to ask yourself. So take a look at all that information that I put in the chat.
Okay.
Ask yourself when you can get it done, when you can actually focus, because this does take a little bit of focus and some me time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And keep showing up to these meetings.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're more than welcome.
Everybody knows they can save the chat, right? So if you want to just save that, it'll save it into your docs under Zoom. Go ahead and save it, take a minute and do that. And we thank you all for being here. It was a lot of fun once again. If Patrick is cool with it, maybe Monday we'll do some role play and we'll dissect and what you're doing right, where you can improve, and we'll give you some honest feedback.
100%. I love it.
I think that'd be fun. We haven't done that yet, Patrick. We need to.
Yeah, let's do it.
And these people can go off and do their own role plays with each other. All right. Everybody, happy Wednesday. We'll see you back here on Monday. Looking forward to it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting us. We really appreciate it. All right. Take care, everyone.